it in the past is just turn on the live and go. Oh, Brookie made it. Hi, Brooke. Glad you made it. So again, today's emphasis is going to be freestyle, and I'm going to start off with the first exercise we are going to do is our 20 air squats, just to wake up a little bit. And I forgot to give that yesterday. So if you missed them yesterday, we're going to get them done today. And I'm going to get rid of my background. None. All right. I've got this pretty cool desk that I'll show you, that if you are doing a lot of Zoom meetings or want to be able to see yourself well, I bought this this music stand. See if you can see it better this way. This thing. And it was like 40 bucks, and it's got a tripod bottom and an adjustable top. So I can make it go to any height that I want, which is really helpful when I'm doing these kind of workouts. So let's do our 20 air squats. Good posture, feet pointed forward, arms start at your side. And I do this scoop part because that's kind of like what we would do in a flip turn. So we scoop over our head, and then when you stand up, I really want to see you go into that thumb lock when you do it at the top. So scoop, stand up, and lock, and really pull your ribs in as you do it. Scoop and stand up. Scoop and stand up. And really reach for the ceiling, but pull your tummy in when you do it. Don't have that arch back at the top. Have your fingertips pointed straight up and your chest pulled in. Now let's take a little break before the last 5. And this is a more advanced drill that I'd like you guys to start putting in. It's squat, streamline, jump. So we're gonna do it with 5 times with that jump as well, like the push off. I see Ronnie's trying to see if she's gonna hit her ceiling or not. You think you got big springs, huh? You're gonna get high. All right, good. All right, check the height in your room, and hopefully you don't make it. So 5 with the jump. Scoop, jump. Oh, I did hit the ceiling. Jump, scoop, jump, scoop, jump, scoop, jump, scoop, jump. All right, well, I guess my ceiling is kind of low. Getting my ball back. All right, so we forgot to do those yesterday. Good wake up. I'm already breathing a little bit. That's great. All right. So our freestyle emphasis for today, I'm going to turn on my screen sharing so you guys can see this. And again, this is our tester round of doing this, so we may have a little trouble. Hoping not. I did test earlier. I'm just making sure we didn't have anybody new come into the call that's sitting in the waiting room right now. And I don't think we do. All right, we got 15 people on the call. That's great. All right, I'm going to go to screen sharing. And let's see. Safari. And share. And bang.
The #1 goal for every swimmer is to send your body forward, to get to the other end of the pool. If you let your body pause or glide too much between strokes, you can lose momentum, and then you have to work hard to get it started again. How does Scott send it forward?
All right, so this is an example swimmer, and there's lots of different ways to swim freestyle, but to me, this is one of the best examples of what I call wetsuit-friendly freestyle. And I kind of break the stroke down into the front of the stroke, the middle of the stroke, and the back of the stroke. And this extended forward, or what I call the enter and extend, is what happens out in front of the stroke. And this guy just does such a good job of doing it on 2 tracks, shoulder width apart. And even though he's entering the water fairly far out in front, because he has a fairly straight arm freestyle, somebody's coming in. Let me see if I can get him in to the call here. Sorry about that. I got to minimize the screen.
From finger
pause. All right. Hey, Robin, can you hear me? I think I'm going to see if I can make you the host. No,
okay.
That's not going to work because then I don't know if I can share the screen anymore.
You can make me co-host.
Oh, I can? Okay.
Yeah.
Let me check on that. I just got to get out of this for a moment.
Balanced and horizontal.
And I'm trying to get back to
Just pull up participants from the bottom.
yeah, I'm on the share screen, so that doesn't show up anymore.
Oh, got it.
Give me a sec.
But yeah, you can make me a co-host, and that way you stay host, but I can still do stuff.
I've seen all the participants, but I can't figure out where there's still people in a waiting room, although I just saw one that was in a little like note flashed up.
Oh, was that my text to you?
No, it said like, one sec. No, that's not it.
Yeah, if you hover over my name and hit more, I think you can make me. I think.
It only allows me to make you the host. It doesn't say.
Oh, got it. Okay. All right. So we must not be set up that way then.
All right. Anyways,
Okay.
well, that's if someone else is out there and they're late, that's on them, I guess. We'll get back in and I won't interrupt anymore. All right. Let me get back to share screen. We're getting back to that one. And we're going to share. We're going to water. All right. Play. Maximize. There we go. So hand goes in the water, shoulder width apart, thumb slightly down. That's what allows the air to get off. And then the arm extends forward and his arm is parallel to the surface or even a little bit downhill. And I just see so many people that when they enter, their wrist breaks and their fingers come back up and it crosses that center line. And when we're doing this air swimming or can swimming, if you're standing in front of a mirror or have your camera in front of you, higher up, a lot of you are putting a camera like really far down on the floor or something like that. At least try to get it onto a chair. But the higher up the level you can get, you're going to get that feedback of looking forward and not letting your hands cross your center line, but keeping them out at shoulder width apart, thumb slightly down, and that it's starting from a deeper position because our shoulder can't handle being too high up. That's why the wrist breaks. So we want to enter and extend and have it straight. So when they go back to the underwater camera here, it's a really nice shot of him doing that. See if this is him picking up tempo a little bit, but still real clean entries. And I turned off the audio because it doesn't really match, I don't think, what's happening. Here we go. Enter and extend. Enter and extend. And that extend is what's giving that extension is the hip rotation. So your arm goes a certain distance out in front, just being straight. And then when you turn the hip, that's what really sends it forward or takes it forward. So watch when the hand enters how his hip rotates into it. And bang, he's on that track that's his right arm. So he's on his right railroad track and then over to the left track. And if you cross that center line, your hips go sideways. So a big portion of this, doing it well, is really keeping the core strong and straight. So that's the next thing we're gonna work on right here. Is getting our alignment. So I don't know if you have a wall that you can get to. I'm going to demonstrate here on this wall behind me, and I'm going to move the camera so you can see it from a few different ways. And hopefully you'll be able to see enough. But if you just stand with your back against the wall, and you can wait and not do it yet. I'll give you a moment to do it in a few minutes. when I push my back and my head against the wall, I have a big gap right here in my back. So I've got to really actively pull my ribs down and pull my belly button in. And at the same time, we have to be able to breathe. We have to abdominal breathe or inflate the can. It's like your torso, with your lungs and everything and your diaphragm, is kind of like a rubber can that the air goes in, it expands, you exhale out, and the can crumples up. When we swim, we're trying to keep that can somewhat inflated and firm so that it's not wiggling around like this all the time. So we've got to inflate it and kind of keep it there. And then our breathing is going in and out with small, what I call bite-sized breaths or appetizer-sized breaths. Instead of a giant dinner-sized plate breath and then you got to blast it all out. You get a sip of air, you hold it a little and you exhale it out. Or you sip it, you exhale, you sip it, you exhale. But you want to keep that torso firmness there all the time so that there's that equal rotation of both sides with the arm going straight versus, I'm way over here, because I have no core stability, and it can be largely related to how you're breathing. So for me, just standing against the wall is a challenge to do that. So I'm going to stand against the wall, and then I'm going to add some arms to it like this. So against the wall, ribs in, arms parallel and pulled up against the wall. Trying to make this a straight line. I've really got to actively keep my chest pulled in. And then I'm just going to rotate my hands back and forth like this. So that's your exercise to go do for 2 minutes. If you can bring the camera, great. If you can't, just leave the camera there. Try to go find a wall that you can get against or a door. A door works pretty well. I like that, the back of the garage door. And just see if you can keep your elbows against the wall and rotate your hands back and forth with your ribs pulled in. Hey, Brookie, why aren't you doing it? Right on. Chest pulled in. Hey, Mike, can you get your elbows higher up, like in alignment with your shoulders? Yeah, try to do it like that and not with the elbows way down here. Goaler, do you see how you're having to reach back with your wrist to get there? That's some tight shoulders, huh? See if you can keep the wrist level and get the hand back and hit the wrist against the wall, not just your fingertips. Okay, guys, you can come back. Come on back. So that's not really a workout in terms of you're not breathing hard or anything doing it, but I'm sure some of you found, whoa, my shoulder mobility or flexibility isn't that great. And that's kind of the range of motion we're looking for, but it is largely related to your core stability as well. And you can kind of fake it with a lot of back arch and stuff. But if you're doing that in the water, your body, once it starts turning into the banana shape, you're expending tremendous amounts of energy, and you're dragging a lot more water with you now because your hips are sitting lower, and it's just a lot of work to go slow. So if you can set the boat line nice and straight and round, it just makes you move so much faster and easier. So let's go back to some more video here. Go back to sharing my screen and back to Safari and back to share. Exit full screen, back to full screen, and play. Enter and extend. Nice straight line. That head's on a neutral plane with the rest of the body. Good slow motion view of it. And this is what I'm trying to get people to do, that circular recovery. His shoulder lifts up out of the water and comes up by his ears on each recovery. And we're going to go into that a little bit more in one of the other videos we do. This is I think him demonstrating some incorrect form where his head's actually a little bit too buried for his body type. And then this one, his head's too high. When the head's too high and looking forward, you see his hips are dropping below the surface. So they went into a little bit of just that head moving a few inches up or down has a pretty big impact on your body. And then back to right in the neutral position for him is looking slightly forward underwater. It gives him the best level position of his head to his hips being at the same level the whole way. So enter and extend, and you extend by turning the hips. And we can do that with the cans as well, and not just bang them down towards the floor, but rotate the hips and really get that extend out in front. So while I'm setting up the next video, let's stand up and get your cans or no cans and do 50 strokes and chant, enter and extend in your head. And if you can do it in front of a mirror, try to do that. Try to picture what you just saw in this video, doing 50 strokes of enter and extend on 2 tracks, shoulder width apart. All right, cool. Slow it down, Andrea, AJ, slow it down. There you go. I know it's harder. Circle the hand higher to the sky on the recovery. George, more ketchup. Hold that arm out there while the back arm comes towards the front. Larry looks pretty good. Ronnie, you're crossing your center with the left. So feel like it extends forward to 11 o'clock, not to 12. A little bit wider, like, yeah, exactly. All right, and let's take a break. Take a break. Hey, Mike W., let me grab a can. You're at the back, you're twisting your can, twisting it like that for the recovery. It should just be the back of the hand leads on the recovery. Shouldn't be twisting the can like that or pulling your elbow behind your back. We're gonna get into that a little bit more in a moment, but I see some people, they twist the can. That's not good. We want the back of the can, the back of your hand on the coming back forward. All right, we're going back to a new video. So I'm gonna share the screen again. And I want a different, here we go. This is the same swimmer, it's just another little clip that we're gonna watch. And we'll put it up to full size. This one's called Never Let Go of the Catch. So after we enter and extend, the middle part of the stroke I call the catch and pull. And that's your propulsion phase of the stroke. That view right there is a really nice view of the recovery, but we'll see the underwater part in a moment. So right here, hand is dropping down, fingers start pointing towards the bottom to move water back. So his fingers get pointed towards the bottom right there, elbows bent about 90 degrees, and then the pull pattern is parallel to the floor. It's not continuing to go deeper and deeper and deeper. The earlier we can get the fingers pointed down to move water straight back, the more propulsion you get. And I call that the bottom of the, or the back of the D, and the D is pointed towards the sky. So a normal D looks like this, like that, and we're turning that D upward. So the pull is the flat part. The recovery is the round part. And he does a pretty good job of that. Excellent job of that. Catch right there, and then move the water back. So if we totally lock the arm out at extension, the first movement's going to be more down. So when you're extending, you want to not quite lock the elbow out and start getting those fingertips going downward so that you can keep the elbow as high as you're able to. If you look at world-class swimmers, they can really keep their elbow up high. They call that an early vertical forearm. And not everybody can do that, but you just want to keep working at it the best you can for yourself. And the exercise for that is to rotate your shoulder inward towards your ear. Shoulder inward towards your ear. You can keep the elbow up and the fingers down. But if the shoulders are always pulled down, then your elbow is always going to drop. So we'll finish watching this, and then I got a new cool exercise with the cans for you. All right, so we lost AJ. I got to see if I can get her back in. Okay. All right, so there's some good video of the enter and the catch and pull, I should say. So I'm going to stop this share right there. And then participants. Man. I think for next time I've got to not have that waiting room going, because I think if somebody gets out, I'm having a hard time finding how to get them back in. Let me go to security. Oh, let's enable. You have disabled the waiting room. All right, so hopefully that will let them back in. $14. All right, we will see if that works. All right, 1 second. I got to read a little message here. Okay. All right, so the new exercise. We're going to do a one-arm freestyle, but I'll demonstrate first, and then you might have to go somewhere else to do it. All right, and I did get the note that we're 10 minutes from getting shut out, so this is going to be a 40-minute session max. All right, I'm going to move my screen here. We're in a new swim center area now. I'm on my island. So I'm standing next to it, and I'm doing one-arm freestyle. See if I can get this angle maybe a little better. One-arm freestyle, and see how I have to pull back level, because if I go down, I'm going to hit the island. So you can do this at your kitchen table. If you have an island, it's a little bit higher. I'm just doing it with one arm, and then I can turn around and do the other arm the same way. And I start off just doing one arm so I won't get too out of control and bash anything. But I can do it full stroke, both sides, you know, and it's really forcing me to move back and not make that big U in the bottom of the stroke. So if you have a kitchen table or a bar or something that's about that right height, that's right at my waist height, And that's the height that I want to be pulling at. It's just kind of a drill that you could do to really see, am I pulling with a high enough elbow? Am I can moving back? Or am I tending to go super deep? So if you have a place you could go try it out, great. We'll give you 2 minutes to go try that and come back. You don't have to take your camera with you. But if you don't have any spot like that, you can just, on your own, visualize that high elbow, and you really want that moving parallel to the floor. And the surface of a table is awesome for showing you that. That's catch and pull. Hey, Brooke, why aren't you trying it? Brooke, is that frozen screen down there? So after you've done maybe 20 strokes with each arm, then go ahead and try it with both arms. And that could either be with the cans or without, up to you. All right, here we go. Come on back, and we're going to do our last video of the day.
Dad, I have an open space in my room, which is a clean wall if you need it. I'm trying to tell you to go in my room because there's more space so we can actually see you.
All right, and this one shows the recovery part of the freestyle. This is Robin's pull. Do you notice it, Robin? That's it, Soka? All right, this is one of my favorite views right here, is this head-on view of showing how the arm circles back to the front, and it's pretty high to the sky, but it's outside of the body. And one of the biggest mistakes I see is that elbow getting jacked behind your back. And when that happens, your front arm goes crooked, your back gets arched. So your arm should be circling a little bit away from you. So when I'm doing the videos, when I'm doing the soup cans, I want my arms to recover and look like this. In other words, one arm circles here and one arm circles here. And I'm looking for it to be somewhere around close to 45 to 60 degrees. If I swing the arm this way, too close to the water surface, it's gonna keep going. And that's gonna cause some crossover, so I don't wanna do that. And then if I bring it too far behind me, the front arm's gonna go crooked. So when you get the recovery, to be pretty equal on both sides, it's just gonna drop right where it should into the water. Now, whether the elbow is bent or not, doesn't really change that. It's kind of shoulder to the elbow that we're looking for. But I just find when people try to swim with high elbows, they light up a lot of muscles in their shoulders that they don't need to. So I'm saying from here, from the elbow down doesn't really matter. It's from the shoulder to the elbow that is really important to have that angle. And I just find it doesn't turn on as much effort if I just let it circle back to the front instead of trying to have these high elbows that tend to go behind my back. And this is super important if you're wearing a wetsuit. So a good portion of our freestylers are also open water swimmers. And I don't want you to swim like this all the time and then go out in the ocean and put on your wetsuit and think you're gonna swim like this. Whereas when you watch this guy, this is the way the fast sprinters swim too. They let the elbow to the hand just do what it does. And the momentum just tends to send it a little bit higher. So we'll watch the end of that. Slow motion right there. And then he'll do some gradually faster swimming with it. But I really like how his whole armpit gets dry as he lifts that shoulder up by his ear and kind of circles the energy forward. All right. So I'm going to stop this share. Let's see if I can find my thing. Pause. Stop the share. Back to the screen. All right, we have 3 minutes left, so we're going to get cut off here pretty soon. Next week, I'm going to do a Technique Tuesday on breaststroke. I'm going to find a bunch of different breaststroke videos to show you guys, and a little bit of on the carpet kicking for breaststroke that you can try out if you've got a place for that. Some of you might not really be interested in breaststroke. Again, this was kind of a test video, and so I certainly would like to maybe, if you get a chance, write an email on what you thought didn't like or what we could do better on something like this. I'm not sure I'm going to switch to this format. I probably won't, in fact, for the regular workouts on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But I'm just looking for some ways to kind of educate people a little bit more on some of the details of swimming that we don't always have time to go into at practice. You know, you just want to get moving and you get cold and all that stuff. But hopefully you can take some of this and AJ just had a really good idea. She said, how about a question and answer? And that's a great idea. We're going to lose it in a minute. I think we can just log back in, but I'm not sure if it's going to be the same meeting or not. So we'll try it. We're going to take like a 3-minute break and I'll reopen the meeting. And if you can get back in, great. And if you can't, or you got to go do something, we'll see you later. But I'll try to reopen it at 7:15. So you got a few minutes to do it. You may or may not see an email from me with the login code. I'm not sure, but hopefully you can get back in. All right, guys. Thanks for coming.